Hi everybody, it's Rita Smith, the #1 food fairy. I'm finally getting back to you with my process, because you can hardly call it a recipe, but my process for roast vegetables. Today I'm going to use zucchini and Brussels sprouts, which are actually one of my very favorite foods, and on a keto diet, essentially, you can eat all the Brussels sprouts you want. You can actually eat all the zucchini you want too. So you could really eat till you're full on Brussels sprouts and zucchini. I pack them in Ziploc bags. I don't overcook them. I like them to be a little bit firm so I can carry them around to work or eat them quickly at home or even on a dog walk or whatever. Carry them around with me. These are two foods that you can eat an unlimited quantity of. And if you do a big batch of them ahead of time, they're really quick and easy to have with you. So I'll be back in just a moment to show you the prep, because that's really all it is prep. There's no recipe for Brussels sprouts and zucchini roasted in a balsamic dressing for you to eat anywhere, anytime, as much as you want. Okay, I'll start off with the Brussels sprouts. And I did want to explain why I'm not cleaning these Brussels sprouts. Most Brussels sprouts, I grew up my whole life thinking you had to clean Brussels sprouts, and in fact I did. I always did. I would take the Brussels sprout, I would trim it a new edge. Look at that edge, is pretty clean. Give it a new edge and pull off the outside leaves, which is the way I was trained to clean a Brussels sprout. But what I found was, being on the keto diet, I eat so many of them. I eat so many Brussels sprouts that there aren't enough hours in the day for me to stand here and clean a whole bin of Brussels sprouts like this. So what I started doing is just rinsing them. If I see any dead brown outside leaves, I take them off. Other than that, all I do is rinse them. I don't trim the ends. I don't trim the leaves. I just rinse them, which is what I'm going to do right now. And then I'm going to parboil them in a pasta cooker for very little period of time, maybe 4 or 5 minutes. I'll see how it goes. I'll get the water on to boil. I'll give these a rinse and put them in the boiling water for just a few minutes. Okay, I've got the bottom of the pasta cooker about half full with water. I'm going to put it on the stove on high. I'll add just a little bit of salt to the water, and when the water is boiling, I'm going to set in it the basket full of Brussels sprouts. So while the water is coming to a boil for me to put the Brussels sprouts in, I'm just going to trim these zucchinis, and then I'll trim them and then I'll give them a rinse. I probably should have done it the other way around, but anyway. So all I'm doing is chopping the ends off of the zucchinis. That's it. They don't need to be parboiled. They'll get limp enough. They'll get soft enough. But what have I got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 zucchinis. You can do, I'm going to use a big roaster. The bigger your roaster and the more veggies you want, the more zucchinis you can put in. So I'll give all of these a rinse, and then I'll show you the sizes to which I cut them. Okay, so I'm going to cut the zucchini into pieces, I'm going to say about 1.5 inches, a little over 1 inch. Big enough to hold their shape, but and small enough to cook to a nice texture. You don't want to slice them too thin, because mostly you won't be eating these with a knife and a fork. You'll be picking them up with your fingers. That's what I do anyway. And so if they are too little, they just squirt away when you try to pick them up. So I'm going to leave them a pretty good size, in about 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches, 1.5 inches. And that is all I do to them. I just cut them like that, and I toss them in the pan. I'm going to toss them with some store-bought balsamic dressing and the Brussels sprouts momentarily. But that's all that goes on with the zucchini. Pretty quick, actually. So Brussels sprouts are in the hot water. I'm going to put the lid on them. I've already salted the water. And I'll time it how many minutes I'm going to give this, so you can see roughly the color and the texture when I take them out. I don't want them to be cooked all the way at all. I just want them to be parboiled. So here they are going in. Okay, these have been boiling for 5 minutes. I'm going to turn them off, take them off, and take them out and drain them, and turn them into the roaster with the zucchini. So that's 5 minutes of parboiling for the Brussels sprouts. So I've got the 7 zucchini and I think about 3 or 4 pounds of Brussels sprouts in a big giant roaster. Ouch. This is going to go in the oven. I've got the oven preheated to 375. And what I've bought is a pre-made bottle of Kraft balsamic dressing. It's like a 5 for $5 in the United States, 99 cents each, not bad. So give it a shake. Oops, could be shaken better than that. Okay, so I'm gonna probably use about half of this, maybe even a little bit more. Give it a good solid, that's about 2/3 of the bottle. And then I'm going to toss the vegetables and try to get them all as covered as I can. It's not an exact science at all. And liquid comes out of the vegetables as you're cooking. If you have a chance to turn them, not a bad idea, so that everything is well coated with a nice coating of dressing and juice from the vegetables. And then that is that. I'm going to stick it in the 375-degree oven without a lid. And it'll be in there. There's no rack in the bottom. This just went straight into the roaster. They will be in the oven for about 20 minutes or longer. That's a big pan, maybe half an hour or more. Anyway, in it goes at 375. And when they start to have that crispy caramelized look, not overcooked, but nicely caramelized with the dressing, and then I pull them out, or turn the oven off if it's late at night. So this is going into the oven at 375, and I'm gonna say for at least 20 minutes to a half of an hour. You might like yours longer, but I like mine to be a little bit undercooked. So these have been in the oven for 25 minutes, and I think, oh geez, I think this could roast a lot longer. Actually, the Brussels sprouts are, I'm going to give them a turn. I might add a little, oh, that one's not so bad. Maybe I just picked the biggest one. I'm going to give them about another 15 minutes, I think. And I might put a little, I'll give it a turn. I won't necessarily put any more dressing on, but I'll give it a turn and put it back in the oven for 15 minutes or so. And then sometimes when I'm doing this in the evening, I don't address them in the nighttime. I just turn the oven off. And then when I get up in the morning, I put them into smaller bags. So, so these are looking pretty good. They smell really good too. And I'm going to put them back in the oven for another 15 minutes. See, the zucchinis, it's still a little bit firm too. Okay, yeah, 10 or 15 minutes. So that would be a total of 40 minutes all in. And then when they're cool, I will put them in Ziploc bags and eat them all the time. Because you can eat an unlimited amount of Brussels sprouts and zucchini on a keto diet. So there you go. And remember, on a keto diet, there's a certain category of vegetables or categories of vegetables that you can eat unlimited amounts of. Most of the cabbage family falls into that category. Zucchini falls into that category. The general rule of thumb is if it's green and it grows above the ground, you can eat a ton of it. If it's grows below the ground or it's orange, you can't. You have to really limit those because squash and carrots, they have a lot of carbohydrates in them. Turnips, potatoes, those are right out, actually. Those are right out. But anything that grows above the ground and is green, you can pretty much eat until you're stuffed. And these are perfect. I'm going to package them up and stick them in the fridge. And by the end of the week, they'll be gone. It's great to get it all done at once as quickly and simply as possible. And then if you are hungry, you don't feel like you need a cookie or a piece of toast, you can just eat some Brussels sprouts or some zucchini. Good luck on your keto diet. I lost 65 pounds start to finish and was never hungry for 1 minute. So I hope that you have the same experience. I wanna get outside and breathe some air, 'cause all I ever see are kisses and commercials.